EJ, welcome. Thank you very much for sparing some time this morning as well. I'll hand over to you. Do you want to share a little bit about your journey as well and what you're doing now?
Yes, of course. Can everyone hear me? All
Yes.
good? Brilliant. Okay, thank you, Heather. So, my background, I straight from uni, worked in IT for Gartner as a benchmarking analyst for about 10 years before I stopped that career to have my girls, who are now 18 and 20. During that time, I worked as a personal trainer because that gave me flexibility to work the hours I needed to work and wanted to work. I was self-employed um, PT, which gives you its own transferable skills with regards to talking to your clients, maintaining your client base, getting new clients, having confidence in yourself to put yourself out there. But my girl's now older, so in November 22, I joined Supermums with the plan to upskill and to start using, I joke, my brain a bit more than my brawn. As we get older, it's best to keep all those pathways open. And I also wanted to keep some flexibility, earn a bit more money, and maybe not be so reliant always on myself to be the one driving that all the time, to get back into more of an environment where I have other people I can bounce off of and learn from and just build a network that way rather than it just sort of primarily be me working by myself all the time. So my husband is a technical architect for Salesforce. He was a great advocate for me and pushed me, supported me, encouraged me. And actually, he was the one that introduced me to Supermums as he'd heard the then UK CEO, I think it was, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he was presenting at a conference that my husband attended and spoke very highly of Supermums as an organization and the training that they offered. So he said, look into that route. And for me, this route really worked because, as Michelle said before, accountability for me is key. I like to be able to know what I need to do when. So I was able, and luckily, I was able to do the live sessions, so I could have the interaction and the actual contact with the trainer with any questions live. I did do some from a recording, which worked really well because you can't always be in the same place each week. It was a great organization to be part of quite quickly. I realized that like-minded people, I could see the support that we would get. Um, Again, the mentor relationship for me was really key. It was great to have someone so professional in working in the space that we want to work into. So she was brilliant. The internship, the work experience, again, that was really sort of cemented it all together to get that real hands-on experience with Salesforce, applying what we had been learning. Yes, it's daunting. Yes, you feel like you've just like, wow, where am I? I've been thrown into this. But my experience for that was really good. I was really lucky with the I mean, all the organizations you're placed in will be great, but I had a nice relationship with the lady who was looking after me, and we still keep in a bit of contact now. So that really sort of improves your confidence that when you then do go out there looking for your first placement, you do have that on your CV and you're able to actually talk to a live production environment as such, and you understand a bit more about what actually happens out there rather than what happens when you do it in your playground, etc. I, up until 2 weeks ago, worked for two charities, both of which I was placed with through Supermum's recruitment team, which again did an amazing job for me, really promoted me, really made me believe in myself and gave me that confidence to go through the interviews, selling what I had as skills and not thinking about what I didn't potentially have, which is a trap that I think I fall into, and maybe other peers do fall into. We tend to sometimes look at, oh, I don't have that, I don't have that. But actually, you've got to remember, but I do have this. And I can tell you from one of the roles I got in the interview, I was told afterwards when I was offered the position, you weren't the most technically able, but you were the best communicator. And in this role, we need the Salesforce administrator, because it's a solo Salesforce admin. They need to be able to talk to the leadership team, and they need to be able to explain to the leadership team what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. And that for them was as important as someone that could just sit in the background and plug in all the technical. I'm not by any means putting down the technical side of it, because you do need to know what you're doing, but you do need to have that skill set too. And you can learn. There are so many tools that you can pick up to figure out how to do things. I think the communication side of things is something that you build your confidence on, and that's something you just go with it, believe in yourselves, and then someone will see that in you when they're interviewing you. They're like, right, this person's got some confidence, can see her background, can see what she's trying to do, and it will work. So that for me was a big positive and gave me the confidence to then go into the role and deliver it as they need me to deliver it. And believe me, it's not been easy. I've been doing this one for 18 months now, and my biggest challenges are still engaging the leadership team and making sure they're on board with what I'm doing. So I'm learning all the time and still having to update my skills. And I recently took the business analyst certification, and that's really helped understand and cement the principles of how we do it, why we do it, and be able to present back to people with much more of a kind of structured way of looking at how processes work, how businesses operate, and then I can tell them how the Salesforce fits into that. So yeah, that's where I am. I am now really. I'm down to 3 days a week. My other contract was 2 days a week, and that's finished. So I was full time for a while. Quite pleased with the 3 days a week now for a bit as I rethink what I'm going to do. Looking into some AI stuff, I think. But there's so much out there all the time that you can't ever sit still as such in what you're doing. You need to be looking, learning, talking. I don't put loads of pressure on yourselves, but just keep an eye on what's going on, and then you're just able to communicate again in the right time frame. You know what's going on, and yeah, it just helps build you, cement your position when you are lucky enough to land your roles.
Oh, thank you, EJ. And do you want to stay as Salesforce admin, or do you want to step into one of those other roles?
So where I am at the moment, I'm a Salesforce admin, but I wouldn't say I was. I'm more a business analyst that gets and so it's I would like to go more that way, I think, because I think that's probably my skill set, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, so that's I've just got to take the plunge now and really say, right, that's what I'm going to do, rather than I'm not getting comfortable doing what I am doing, if that makes sense. But it's time to just keep looking. What should I be doing? And I think is the way I will go.
Well, BA gets paid more, right? So you might as well.
Well, that's true as well.
Because you're doing all of it, and then as a pure BA, you get paid more. It's like, oh, okay.
Exactly. Must remember that.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story and taking some time out of your working day as well. And have a little relax during your 3 days a week.
Yes, thank you.